And welcome everybody back into the ballpark here at Milroy for Game 3 of 4, Game 4 of 5 of the State C tournament. The venue here at Milroy, of course, games going on at Springfield. This one is a battle between the Orphans and the Clippers, two towns just 35 miles apart, playing for a chance to get to the round of 32. You're going to see it all right here on PrepSpotlight.tv. The 2020 Class C Minnesota Amateur Baseball Tournament is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Baseball Association and presented to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 is the hub for all things sports with the Xfinity Sports Zone. And Wings Financial. We're for people like you. Andy Price and Greg Wolfert with you here at PrepSpotlight.tv as the Howard Lake Orphans are being introduced down the third base line. They are the visiting team in this one against the Watkins Clippers. Howard Lake on Highway 12, Watkins up on Highway 55. The towns are just 30 miles apart from each other. Of course, they have the history of those towns and those cities along Highway 55 and Highway 12 generating great town ball, great Minnesota amateur baseball is long and storied, and these two teams are meeting in the first round to see who's going to match up, move on to the second round and advance on. And the winner of this game, we know next week will be getting the chance to play Fergus Falls here in Milroy and Sunday morning. So that's what those two teams are playing for right now. Howard Lake wearing their white jerseys with the red tops, one of the greatest nicknames in the state, the Howard Lake Orphans. Saw a television story from a couple years ago on the Fox 9 Town Ball Tour talking about it, and it's because they lost their ballpark back in 50s and 60s, and they didn't have anywhere to play. So they became known as the Orphans from Howard Lake. And since then, they've built a beautiful ballpark on the lake, one of the most picturesque parks you're going to see. Of course, they have a little issue with some flooding with it, but it is one of the great Minnesota ballparks, and Howard Lake is back into the state tournament again this year, and they will be taking on the Watkins Clippers. The Clippers also wearing white jerseys, but they've got their sleeves, so they're sleeveless vest jerseys with the pinstripes and the blue shirts, navy blue shirts underneath it. The Watkins Clippers, they're coming in as well from the middle part of the state, and it should be a fun matchup between these two teams. So let's take a look at the starting lineup. First for the visiting Howard Lake Orphans, we've got Matt Strike will be batting first and playing in right field. Steve Boger will be batting second and playing in center field. Brad Bickman, who is the coach's son, will be in at third base, batting third. Jake Gruenhagen is at first base, and he'll be hitting in the cleanout spot. Jared Cook is our designated hitter. He'll be batting fifth for Howard Lake. Zach Kiefler is batting sixth and playing shortstop. Matt Donovan is batting seventh and catching. Noah Bush as our second baseman for Howard Lake and batting eighth. And Brock Gels is the number 9 hitter, and he will be playing in left field. And pitching for the Howard Lake Orphans is Mike Dockendorf. He is also the co-manager along with Chris Bickman, so they each share some duties, but when Dockendorf is pitching, he is strictly the guy on the field. Chris Bickman is the manager of all things going on around the field. So that's the combination there, and Dockendorf is pitching for Howard Lake in this game. So let's turn over our attention to the team that's out in the field right now, and that is the Watkins Clippers. Kevin Kramer will be leading off. Batting second will be Leakin Haugen. Matt Geislinger will be batting third. Geislinger is also pitching, and he is also the manager of the team. Brandon Ashton will be batting fourth. Heath Kramer batting fifth. Carter Block batting sixth. Carson Geislinger will be batting seventh. Nolan Geislinger will be batting eighth, and he'll be playing shortstop. And Gavin Mathis will be batting ninth. And that is the lineup there with Matt Geislinger pitching for the Watkins Clippers. So we are about ready to go. Watkins is taking the field, and they are ready to get things lined up and ready to go for this one.
game for Howard Lake right fielder number 23, Matt Strike.
So Strike comes to the plate. Matt Strike in his first appearance, and he'll be facing Geislinger. Geislinger, a lefty. And he toes the rubber with this game just getting underway. Watkins in white. The Orphans in white. Everybody wearing white, but the difference is the colors blue and red, and the Orphans in red are at the plate. The first pitch is called a strike, and the count is 0-1. Geislinger fires, and it's grounded up the first base line. Geislinger has to get over there and hustle, and they get the out of Strike at first base, barely on the quick throw over the top of the head of the runner as he was going by. Geislinger fields it, has the runner go past him, and he's able to get the throw on over to the first baseman. And Ashton may get with the play there, and there's one out quickly. Steve Boger now. Batting right-handed, wearing number 27. He will play center field. And Boger swinging and missing at the first offering. Both teams wearing classic uniforms today in this one. This beautiful August afternoon in Milroy. First, the 0-1 pitch is inside and is low, and the count goes to 1-1. The Geislinger and Haugen is the battery for the Lincoln Haugen. That's the battery for Watkins Clippers. 1-1 pitch is squirted foul, and the count moves to 1-2. Two teams have already moved on. Union Hill winning the first game here in Milroy, and then we just watched the Buffalo Bulldogs. So actually two Bulldogs moving on to this second round. The 1-2 pitch grounded towards second, moving to his left, and making the play is Carter Block. A couple Carters on the Watkins squad. And with two down, Brad Bickman, the third baseman, coming to the plate. Bickman hitting from the right side, facing the left-handed Geislinger, and there's 2 up and 2 down for Watkins. Flared foul on the first pitch, a fastball right at the knees, and the count goes to 0-1. Let's take a look at the dimensions here. We haven't really talked about the dimensions. It's 305 down the right field foul line, 348 to the right center field, 375 to dead center field with the big batter's eye, green batter's eye above the 375 side. 361 into the gap in left center field, and 305 down the left field line here in Milroy. Swing and a miss, and the count goes to 1-2 on Bickman. 2 up and 2 down so far for Watkins is the Howard Lake Orphans in their red trim jerseys, looking to get things started here in the first inning. The 1-2 pitch from the lefty is nubbed foul and just past the Watkins dugout. Count remains 1-2. We saw a home run in the last inning, or in the first game, I mean, of the tournament. The tournament this morning as the foul tip outside of the glove of Haugen. A home run from the Union Hill shortstop. A 3-run homer is the only ball that's left the yard so far. A flurry of singles, a flurry of errors, and a flurry of walks through the first 3 games here in Milroy. This is game 4. We'll have one more for you at 8 o'clock tonight. And the 1-2 pitch is grounded foul at third base. So nice pitch from the lefty as he tries to cut it inside on the right-handed hitting Bickman, but Bickman fights it off. The last game tonight will be Watertown taking on the Red Wing Aces, and that game scheduled to start at 8 o'clock. But since we are starting late in every game so far, I would say we're going to be a little later than 8, unless we have a very, very fast-moving game here in the 5 o'clock game. So another foul ball from Bickman, and the count remains 1-2 with 2 outs here in the first inning. Howard Lake taking on Watkins. Howard Lake batting here in the top of the first. Bickman set, takes a pitch from Geislinger, steps in the bucket, but is grounding it to second. At second is Block, and Block makes 2 plays in the inning, and it's a 1-2-3 inning, 3 ground balls and 3 ground ball outs for Matt Geislinger, and he has escaped the first without any issue at all. We are going to go to the bottom of the first crack at the bat for the Watkins Clippers, and we'll do that when we come back. You are watching PrepSpotlight.tv. Back with you here for the bottom of the first inning as the Watkins Clippers will take their first at-bats, their first hacks, and they'll be facing the co-manager of the Howard Lake Orphans, Mike Dockendorf, as well. Dockendorf, a righty, wearing number 8, and he will face this Watkins Clippers squad, and leading off for the Watkins Clippers is Kevin Kramer, the center fielder. We want to update you on the umpires for this game. Austin, as all of a sudden I just wrote it down, I can't see it. And, Austin Lachis is behind the plate, and Mike Kaufman is in the field. So the first batter for the Watkins Clippers comes to the plate, and it's Kevin Kramer, and the first pitch is high, ball 1. We'll set the fielders for you here in a second as Kramer delivers the shot to left field, and tracking it down is Gels, and Gels makes the first out of the grabs the first out of the bottom of the first inning as Kramer goes down on a fly ball out to left field. That'll bring up Lincoln Haugen, who is the catcher. So Dockendorf is the pitcher. Behind the plate with him is his battery mate, the catcher, Matt Donovan. In the infield, we have Grunhagen at first base, Bush at second, Kiefler at short, Bickman at third. Gels is in left field, Boger in center, and Strike is in right field. That is the fielding positions for Howard Lake here in the first inning. First pitch is a swinging strike to the catcher, Lincoln Haugen. Haugen swinging at an off-speed pitch from Dockendorf, and the count goes to 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. Dockendorf raises his knee and swings at a high, gets a high fastball swinging from Haugen, and so 2 up and 2 down for Dockendorf and the Howard Lake Orphans. His first strikeout.
Now batting the pitcher, number 15, Matt Geislinger.
Pitcher versus pitcher right now as Geislinger puts himself as the manager as well in the number 3 spot in the order. He went 1, 2, 3 in the first, and now he gets the chance to avoid being put down in order here in the bottom of the first inning. And Dockendorf loads and fires, and the first pitch swinging and lifted out towards left center field, and it'll be the center fielder Boger who camps underneath it and makes the grab. So we play a very quick first inning. We are scoreless, and we'll go to the second. You're watching PrepSpotlight.tv's coverage of the State C Amateur Baseball Tournament in conjunction with the Minnesota Baseball Association. Back with you here in Milroy as we go to the second inning. Matt Geislinger will be facing the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Howard Lake Orphans. Let's bring you up to date on some scores from around the state. All these games being seen on PrepSpotlight.tv as we speak, and you can flip around if you've logged on to a package of all the games, whether it's the full tournament package or the Class C or the Class B packages. All these games are on, and I know we've been getting some great feedback from around the state that people are happy to be able to see all 80 games of the state tournament here on PrepSpotlight.tv, all in one spot. And we appreciate everybody who has supported us and supported the Minnesota Baseball Association by subscribing to games, either as a single game or a package. Jake Gruenhagen batting for the Howard Lake Orphans, and the first pitch is just missing inside. Gruenhagen batting left-handed, and he swings at the fastball from Geislinger, and it's strike one. Foul tipped it, actually, and it's count 1-1. Let's go around the state right now and start with Class A, where we have a good one going, a good game brewing between Baseball 365 and the Minnetonka Millers. This is a quarterfinal matchup between the Millers, the New York Yankees, I like to call them. Strike on the outside corner makes it 1-2 to Gruenhagen. And that game between Baseball 365 and Minnetonka is tied 3-3 in the 8th. A couple of home runs, one for each team in that game, and that one's going down to the wire, and Jeff Pappas has the call. Pitch is low from Geislinger as catcher Haugen thought he had strike 3. Not so the case, and Gruenhagen is still alive, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lefty versus lefty here in the cleanup spot for Howard Lake. Geislinger agrees to the pitch, turns his back to the batter on the delivery, and the off-speed breaking pitch misses into the dirt, and the count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So that game in Class A is 3-3 in the quarterfinals between 365 and the Minnetonka Millers. Take that back. Just as we're going through, we see that Minnetonka, and it was Rutledge again, the leadoff hitting center fielder. And that pitch is outside corner for a strike, and Gruenhagen goes down looking. First strikeout for Geislinger. And he has retired the first 4 Orphans. Jared Cook at the plate. So 5-3 now, Minnetonka over Baseball 365. That game will go to the 9th inning, I think, with Minnetonka leading. And they'll try to hold on to win it. Foul tip on the first pitch to Jared Cook, the designated hitter, so he falls behind in the count. In Class B, early score from Shakopee and the Moorhead Mudcats. There's 2 Moorhead teams playing in the Class B tournament, and the Mudcats take an early lead on Elko 1-0 in that game. Strike on the inside part of the plate, and 0-2 is the count as Geislinger and Dockendorf have come out firing and hitting the strike zone, and so quickly this game is racking up some outs. 0-2 pitch is outside as Haugen was set up on the outside of the plate, and that's exactly where Geislinger throws it, and it's ball and 2 strikes. Cook, the right-handed hitting DH, takes the breaking ball inside, and we are even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ground ball towards short. It's a Geislinger there fielding it and firing across, and that would be Nolan Geislinger making a play there. There's 3 Geislingers in the starting lineup. There's a couple Kramers as well. So you just need to know maybe just a couple names here, and you get yourself a baseball team. Watkins, of course, as I was mentioning, up on Highway 55. Hour west of the cities, maybe an hour 15 west of the Twin Cities. Zach Kiefler is playing shortstop, and he'll be batting 6th in the lineup. And the first pitch he takes is a very good fastball with a tail away from the right-handed hitter, Kiefler. It's ball 1. And one other score we want to pass along, the 3rd game going on in Springfield, the Class C tournament, just like we are here. That pitch looked like it was on the inside corner, but not over the plate, and the count moves to 2-0 to Kiefler. 2 balls, no strikes, and Geislinger delivers outside, 3 balls and no strikes. That fastball has a little giddy up to it, He's missed outside to a couple of the right-handed hitters. 3 balls and no strikes here. No base runners yet so far in the game, but at 3-0, we might see one right here. Instead, he has a get-me-over fastball to Kiefler, and he gets a strike, and it's 3-1. And in that other game going on between Waconia and Cannon Falls, I went to a Cannon Falls game earlier this year, had a beautiful night in Cannon Falls, and Waconia out to a 2-0 lead. Ground ball back to Geislinger. Geislinger picks it up and fires low, but they get the out. 3 up, 3 down, and Matt Geislinger has retired the first 6 Orphan batters, so we'll go to the bottom of the second inning. You're watching PrepSpotlight.tv's coverage of the State C Amateur Baseball Tournament. We're at Milroy, the Yankees ballpark. It's a fun night. Glad you're watching. If you're not here, we're glad you're watching. Thanks for coming out and supporting Minnesota Town Ball. Back here for the bottom of the second. Dockendorf getting ready to face the Clippers. He set them down 1-2-3 in the first inning, and see if he can match Geislinger by doing the same thing here in the bottom of the second. It will be Brandon Ashton, Heath Kramer, and Carter Block batting for the Watkins Clippers. An update on that Minnetonka game in Class A. Jeff Pappas with the call from St. Anthony Village, and we had a home run. Another home run, and from Minnetonka, they have taken a 7-3 lead in that game. So they appear to be moving. That might help them cinch that and move on to their semifinal. They've won 14 state championships, lost in the finals a year ago. The final game being played in Class A, which is scheduled to start at 7 o'clock tonight. That will be the Highland Park squad, who won in walk-off fashion last week, taking on Air Freight. Dockendorf, the pitcher, Mike, his first name, and he throws a breaking ball to Brandon Ashton, the first baseman. And it is high for ball 1. Fouled off on the 1-0 pitch, and that makes it even at 1-1. One ball, one strike. Again, standing with the open stance to begin with, and a breaking ball is down and away. 2 balls and a strike as Dockendorf looks at the mound to say, that's not exactly the surface I was hoping to land on, and throwing the curveball. Scrapes it with his foot and gets back to work. 2-1, and the pitch is popped up towards right field. And the right fielder comes trotting in, and that is strike, and strike makes the play. So 4 up and 4 down for Dockendorf and the Orphans.
Now batting designated hitter, number 00, Heath Kramer.
Heath Kramer coming to the plate. He wears 0000, and he is the designated hitter. Swing and a miss. He pulls the string a little bit on it, does Dockendorf. One strike. He's the 5th hitter of the game for the Clippers, and he fouls off the 0-1 pitch, and Dockendorf works ahead in the count. These 2 teams from central Minnesota. See the central Minnesota getting such great representation in both the B and the C tournament, especially in the C. No balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch is on the way, and he pulls the string on it, ball in the dirt, so we'll have to throw it down. It's a strikeout for Dockendorf, his 2nd strikeout of the game. And 5 batters have come up to the plate, and 5 batters have headed back towards the dugout unsuccessfully. Carter Block will come to the plate as the 6th batter. Block batting right-handed, and the first pitch makes him back off the plate just a smidge. Is a high fastball, and 1 ball and no strikes to Block. Dockendorf kicks and delivers, and another pitch is up and in, and 2-0 as he falls behind Carter Block, the second baseman. Dockendorf delivers, and that pitch busts him inside, and it's a pop-up, and it looks like it's staying in play. And the catcher and the third baseman cannot communicate and make the play, and that's one where the third baseman likely has the better look at it. Donovan, the catcher, went after it. Bickman, the third baseman, came over and probably had the better look at it. From our vantage point, it looked that way. But the ball falls in between them as Donovan gets a little askew with it. So there's 2 balls and a strike. Dockendorf might have had the belief that he was out of the inning. He kicks and delivers the 2-1 pitch, and it's another pop-up. This one stays in play. Bickman is being called off by the shortstop, Kiefer, and Kiefer has it. So 12 batters have come to the plate. Nobody has reached base yet. We'll move on to the third inning. You're watching PrepSpotlight.tv's coverage of the Class C state tournament. Watkins and Howard Lake scoreless after 2.
What's special about high school sports? The passion. The excitement. The memories.
Now on 3 at the buzzer. Good! It's good! Du Bois wins it for the Rebels.
It's about impacting your community. Connecting your business to this audience. This is where your customers live, where they shop. This is their circle of life. This is where your business should be. Connect with your best potential customers. This is your invitation. Get in the game.
Nice crowd here at the Ball Yard in Milroy at the field of the Yankees playing, and everybody's enjoying some ices over in the corner. Young and old enjoying the day here as we are going to the third inning of a game that has been very clean to this point. Going to the 7th hitter is Donovan, the catcher, and he sees a strike right away from the left-handed, hard-throwing Geislinger. 7th batter of the game for the Orphans, and a blooper to second, and crossing his feet was the second baseman block, but he was able to overcome that little, what would be the best way to put it, maybe not the most athletic looking play, but he gets the job done for the first at. So 7 up, 7 down, as Geislinger seems to be in control, as does Dockendorf from the opposing team, the Orphans. So Orphans and Clippers, nobody on base yet. First pitch to Noah Bush. Bush, the second baseman for the Orphans. First pitch was a ball. Geislinger comes back with a good fastball right at the knees, and it's foul tipped right back into the glove, and the count runs even at 1. Geislinger shakes off the signal from Haugen and then turns his back towards the target and rears back and fires and misses inside. 2-1 now the count. He has 2 or 3 different deliveries so far, as I've noticed in the first 3 innings, but he has the ability to throw the curveball or the strike when he turns that back to the target. Going in on the swing was Bush. Just a little bit too far on the check, and the count goes to 2-2. Geislinger with just 1 strikeout so far. 2-2 to Bush. He comes back with the inside fastball that is fouled away and down the right field side, and almost hit somebody that had serving beers, I think, coming in to serve beers or waters, and she had to duck out of the way as the ball nearly clipped her. It's the Watkins Clippers and the Howard Lake Orphans. 2-2 pitch, and he pulls the string on it, and a strikeout from Geislinger, his second.
Now batting left fielder number 14, Brock Gold.
Brock Gels is the batter. He is the number 9 hitter. And Gels looking to tried to get somebody on base their first time through the order against Geislinger. Foul ball on the first pitch, fouled off the facade of the grandstand, and the count is 0-1. Winner of this game moving on to play Fergus Falls next week. Geislinger delivers a very good fastball. Fastball that had movement away from the right-handed hitting Gels, and it's two pitches, 2 strikes. So Geislinger trying to go through the order the first time without a blip on the score sheet. And he does just that with his second strikeout in a row. So 3 strikeouts so far for Geislinger. He is going along well. Will he be matched by Dockendorf? That question to be answered when we come back. It's 0s going into the bottom of the 3rd inning. You are watching PrepSpotlight.tv's coverage of the Class C State Amateur Baseball Tournament. Thanks again to the partnership with the Minnesota Baseball Association. Coming back with you here in Milroy, Minnesota, about 15 miles to the south and to the east of Marshall, 12 miles from the hotspot of Wabasso, Minnesota. Milroy is, and it's the partial home of the Class C State Tournament. And we are getting ready for the bottom of the 3rd inning. 7-3 is the final. Minnetonka is moving on to the semifinals. We'll see who their opponent is. They'll play those semifinal games tomorrow as the Class A tournament will wrap up tomorrow. Carson Geislinger is the 3rd baseman, and he will bat to lead off the 3rd inning, and his first pitch is foul. The 2 Geislingers at short and 3rd. Younger versions of the pitcher Matt. Dockendorf starts off Carson with a foul ball and a strike, called strike, so it's 0-2. And he rocks and fires, and it's just outside, and the count goes to 1-2. Still as can be here in Milroy right now. Not a breeze to be had. The flag is laying limp in left field. The 1-2 pitch has popped up. It's over the head of the shortstop. The left fielder is charging in, and the left fielder was playing in a good spot. That's Gels, and Gels makes the catch for the first out. They had him played well. Gels comes charging in. He was playing shallow, and he comes over working to his left and makes the catch for the out. Yet to have a base runner in this game. Our first game today between Union Hill and Avon, I think even our camera operator was on base 3 times. Everybody was on base in that game. And here, nobody has reached base. First pitch swinging is Nolan Geislinger, and he lifts it to the center fielder. And that is Boger who comes in with that catch. And so 2 quick outs to make it 8 up and 8 down for Mike Dockendorf, the co-manager, along with Chris Pickman. Had good conversations via email with many of the managers throughout the week. Leading into this, as we were trying to get as much information, we don't want to pretend at PrepSpotlight.tv that we cover town ball all the time, and we are dealing with, on Media Row, with guys who are very knowledgeable about not just the towns that they cover and not just the clubs that they cover, but clubs from throughout the state. And I know there are many people who are town ball aficionados, and so we appreciate any assistance we get from that. It's 2 quick swinging strikes for the number 9 hitter, Gavin Mathis. Mathis is the left fielder, and he fouls off the 0-2 pitch. Dustin Kramer in right field is who is not hitting in the order at this moment in time. Mathis is being designated hitter. That's who Heath Kramer is hitting for, as the designated hitter. Still 2 strikes, and a breaking ball from Dockendorf was hung up a little bit, and Mathis fouls it past first base. Good fastball, pops the mitt, but it's outside of the strike zone, and the count is 1-2. 1-2 pitch, foul tipped and caught, and that ends the inning. So 3 up and 3 down is the order of the day, and we're just going to keep it right here, and we're going to correct the score bug as we go along, as we go to the 4th. But we have seen 18 batters and not a soul on base. Both pitchers perfect through 3. Dockendorf with a strikeout in each of the innings. He's got 3. And Geislinger, who's just getting his work in on the mound right now as he cleans up the mound. They both had. Both pitchers with 3 strikeouts. Mirroring of their work so far. The only difference is that one is a lefty and one is a righty. We'll be heading to the top of the 4th in just a second. All right, we go back to the top of the order in the 4th inning, and Matt Strike is hitting for and it's a tough play on the chopper. Geislinger's not going to be able to get it, and on board is Strike with the first base runner of the day. It was just a ball that was hit right into the middle of the no man's land. And a first hit of the game, and Strike with an infield single. Leadoff hitter with good wheels down the line, and runner at first, and Bolger at the plate. He grounded out to the second baseman block in the 1st inning. Checks the runner in a bunt, and it's a pop-up and lands in fair territory in the grass, but spins hard right and out of the outside of the baseline, so it's strike 1 on the failed bunt attempt. But if it would have stayed fair, he had a chance to beat it out. That was put into a spot where it was going to be a long run for Geislinger, and an even tougher play for the catcher Haugen. No score in this one. We do know in the Class B game that Moorhead, the Mudcats, and Elko have tied things up. They're 1-1 early in that game. Geislinger with a runner, checks him. The swing is on, and so is the steal. Strike had a pretty decent jump, but with the foul tip, Strike has to head back towards first base, and Bolger is down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Right-handed hitting Bolger. They're setting up outside with the 0-2 pitch. And Geislinger hits the mark outside, but wide of the strike zone. And the count is now at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the top half of the 4th inning. The Howard Lake Orphans at the plate with their white jerseys with the red lettering and red helmets. Geislinger, just a quick check, and then throws over to first. He looked at him out of the corner of his eye. Strike, I think, had a feeling he was coming over, and he was leaning back towards first base all the time. So Geislinger has already seen that Strike will run in this occasion. 1 ball, 2 strike, the delivery home, and it's a foul tip right into the mitt of Haugen, and a strikeout number 4 for Geislinger. Bickman is at the plate, the big third baseman. Brad looking down at the signals getting from the third base coaching box. Runner at first still is Strike, who singled with the infield single, and Bickman fouls it off. Low pitch, gets the bat down on it, pops it out, and that's right into the backyard of the house on the north side of this ballpark. Just 252 people in Milroy, according to the population sign as you enter town. They were the late add to the state tournament rotation as the games were supposed to be played in New Ulm. One out and a runner on first, and the pitch is just off the outside corner. Geislinger liked the spot. It's right where he was aiming. Count goes to 1-1. So far, this has been a pitcher's gem duel. Both guys in control. The only thing we've seen on base is an infield single. Bickman jammed, and that ball stays in fair territory or far in play. No, it just leaves the yard and bounces right off of the party deck, and a couple folks on the bar tables just off of the party deck, and it lands just off of there, just to their right. So a ball and 2 strikes now for Bickman. Bickman also grounded out to the second baseman in his first appearance. Right now, we can only state that there's one guy on base all day long, and that's the guy who's sitting at first base right now, and that is Matt Strike. So Strike is at first base. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Geislinger hesitating on the delivery, finally delivers and have a double play opportunity. Geislinger to Nolan. They only get the 1 out at second base, and Geislinger a little bit upset with how that transpired, because that was tailor-made for a double play and a chance for him to get out of the inning. But ends up being a fielder's choice for Bickman as he hits the comebacker to Geislinger. Geislinger throws to Nolan. Geislinger, the shortstop, had to go to a knee to catch the ball. He tags the base with his glove for the second out. So this is Gruenhagen at the plate. Gruenhagen struck out looking to start the second inning. He is the first baseman, left-handed hitting. And that pitch is inside, ball 1. Gruenhagen wearing number 17. 2 down here in the 4th inning. Crowd on either side has had not a whole lot to get excited about, except for the pitching of Geislinger and Dockendorf. Geislinger gets the swinging strike, count 1-1. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. Geislinger again checking the runner. It's a different runner now. It's Bickman, who does not possess the same speed that Strike did as the leadoff hitter. Bickman a little bigger. Not saying he's slow, but I'm not sure he's the same threat. He's nowhere near the same threat that Strike was as a leadoff guy who gets the infield single. So 2 balls and a strike to Gruenhagen, the first baseman. Gruenhagen set in the batter's box on the left side, and he chops it towards Block. Block fields it and will go the short way for the 4-6 force, and that ends the 4th inning, the top of the 4th inning, that is. They do get a hit, so we can mark the scoreboard with 1 hit. Still no runs on the board. It's scoreless. We're going to the bottom of the 4th. You're watching PrepSpotlight.tv. So we're back here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Howard Lake and Watkins matching up in a pitcher's duel. 1 base runner, 1 base hit. We go back to the top of the order now for the Watkins Clippers, and it's Kevin Kramer who plays center field, and he flew out to the left fielder in his first at-bat. So Matt Geislinger, manager of the Clippers, just talking to radio broadcaster from the Hutchinson-Litchfield area, and they're telling me that Geislinger, starting pitcher for the Eden Valley Watkins team that won the state championship in 2010. So he is 10 years removed from high school, which put him at 28 years old-ish. First pitch is a strike, a breaking ball from Dockendorf, and it's slapped towards short. Fielded nicely by Kiefler, and Kiefler throws to preserve the perfect game to this point for Dockendorf. Very nice backhanded pick by Kiefler. And it's 10 up and 10 down for the Howard Lake Orphans. These two teams playing very clean baseball at this moment in time. One down in the fourth inning. That's going to bring up the catcher, Lincoln Haugen. We've seen a lot of catchers today high up in the batting order. You know, you always say catchers are great athletes, and you need these guys and possessing not only just the ability to call a game and run a game as a catcher, but also giving you some offensive pop as well. And Lincoln Haugen batting second, and Dockendorf missed with the ball on the first pitch, but he comes right back with a strike to even up the count at 1. Bottom of the fourth inning. Howard Lake in red, the Watkins Clippers wearing the pinstripes in white with the blue T-shirts underneath. Two balls and a strike as Dockendorf misses high to Haugen. Haugen struck out in his first at-bat in the first inning. And a high fastball gets Haugen to cut and miss, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dockendorf doesn't look like he's got overpowering stuff, but every once in a while he's just been able to sneak that fastball right past people about eye high, somewhere between the letters and eye high. And those are the pitches that sometimes are hard to lay off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Dockendorf delivers and another fastball up above the strike zone. And Haugen swings and misses. So his second strikeout in the game and the 4th strikeout. One every inning right now so far for Mike Dockendorf. So it's pitcher versus pitcher again as Geislinger comes up. And batting third in the order. Dockendorf delivers a breaking ball, and Geislinger held back on it, hands back, and he delivers a base hit right up the middle. And we have our first hit of the game for the Watkins Clippers, and it's Geislinger. So Geislinger breaks up the 0 on the scoreboard in the hit column for their team, the Watkins Clippers, and that's going to bring up Brandon Ashton, who's the first baseman. Ashton wearing number 18. He led off the second inning and flew out to the right fielder. So Geislinger's at first base, and the first pitch is outside from Dockendorf. The Orphans looking at a number of state appearances through their history as I was just perusing an email I had received. A couple final 16 appearances and 2 third-place finishes as well in their baseball history. 2 balls and no strikes, and that pitch misses inside to Brandon Ashton. And now Dockendorf, after giving up the 2-out base hit to the opposing pitcher, Geislinger, is now 3-0 to the cleanup hitter, Ashton. And he fires in a get-me-over strike to keep this at-bat alive, count 3-1. Bottom of the 4th inning, no scores in this one. Dockendorf delivers an off-speed pitch, and the count goes full as Brandon Ashton swings and misses. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And the full count pitch, and the ground ball's hit to the third baseman, and third baseman Bickman thought that ball was going to come up, and it just skidded right underneath him. And it is an error on the third baseman, Bickman. So now 2 runners on board. Runners at first and second. And the catcher, Donovan, is going to pop out to talk to Dockendorf. There is a runner on second now, so maybe just to make sure that their signals are not crossed as the designated hitter, Heath Kramer, comes to the plate. So the first threat of the game with a runner in scoring position, and the runner in scoring position is the pitcher, Geislinger. And the first pitch is a strike to Kramer. Kramer struck out in the 4th inning. And the pitch is away, a little bit of an off-speed pitch, and the count goes 1-1. Want to again thank everybody here in Milroy. The Milroy Yankees staff who has been running this tournament at all sides has been not only extremely helpful and hospitable, but they're running a great tournament. Pitch is up high, and the count goes to 2-1. So I heard the same thing in Springfield as well from our broadcasting crew over the last day and a half, and they said that they've just been treated extremely well, and everybody's excited that all these games across the state are being seen on PrepSpotlight.tv, and a chance for everybody in Minnesota and really worldwide getting the chance to watch what town ball in the state tournament, state amateur tournament, is all about. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. We're here in the bottom of the 4th. There are 2 runners on. Geislinger is at second base. Brandon Ashton is on base at first after the air that prolonged this inning. Dockendorf got the first 2 outs rather quickly, but is now muddied a little bit. And Kramer lifts it out to the center fielder, and Boger is there. And Boger stops and makes the grab. So a hit and an error in the inning, but it is no damage to the scoreboard. And the game goes to the top of the 5th, all tied up 0-0. You're watching PrepSpotlight.tv's coverage of the State Amateur Class C baseball tournament from Milroy, Minnesota. Andy Price and Greg Wolfert with you. PrepSpotlight.tv with you here at the ball yard in Milroy, one of the 2 great town ball yards here in Milroy, and the Yankees field. It's on the southern edge of town, right on Highway 68, State Highway 68. Used to take, when I went to college in Mankato, I'd take Highway 68. That hits the south side of town. All right, that's my reminiscing time. We're going to the 5th inning right now. We have a score as Waconia has increased their lead over Cannon Falls 3-0 in Springfield. First batter to face Geislinger here in the 5th inning is the number 5 hitter, Jared Cook, and Cook cannot stop his swing in time, and so it is strike 1. Then he squares around a bunt and tries to lay it down and misses, so quickly no balls and 2 strikes to the designated hitter for the Orphans, Jared Cook. Orphans have had just 1 runner on base, a lonely group of Orphans right now. At least maybe the loneliest is the first base coach, who has not seen a lot of traffic. 0-2 pitch right off the corner, and Geislinger thought that might have been strike 3. He gives a good whoo if you got a good close-up of his face. But it misses, so it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jared Cook, spelled K-O-C-H. This time he pulls a little off the pitch, and it's strike 3. Five strikeouts for Geislinger, and that brings up the number 6 hitter, Zach Kiefler. Kiefler grounded out to short in his first at-bat. Cook now is 0 for 2 with that strikeout. He also has a ground out in the game. But Kiefler looks at a curveball right over the plate for strike 1. Top of the 5th inning here, and another pitch over the plate, but this one must have been above the letters, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. One pitch is nub foul. Count goes to 1-2. Kiefler, the shortstop. Defense playing straight away for the Watkins Clippers, and Everything just seems very still right now at the ballpark. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The fans are still. The defense is still. The flag is still. Everything is still. Let me see beer sales. Yeah, beer sales are a little still back there as well. Party deck seems still. 2-2 pitch lifted to center. That's shallow. Having to chase in and get it is Kramer. And Kevin Kramer hauls it in for the second out of the inning. So we're 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. We're almost halfway through this game, and it's been very well pitched is the best way to put it, I think, right now. So we go back to 0-0. The catcher, Matt Donovan, comes up. He flew out to the second baseman in the 3rd inning to lead off the 3rd inning in a play made by Carter Block. First pitch fouled away, count 0-1 to Donovan, the catcher. Geislinger backing into the target, fires a fastball inside, misses, and the count is 1-1. Geislinger really can rotate his body to get almost a 180, turning his back, and we see the number 15 almost completely to the target before he delivers. There we see it again. And that pitch is just above the belt and over the plate for strike 2. So Donovan, with 2 outs trying to get the ball rolling, has fallen behind 1-2, and Geislinger wastes no time to deliver right back and a chopper towards third, and it's another Geislinger making the play. Carter fires over, keeping his foot on the bag and getting the out. So 5-3 on the putout to end the 5th inning, and only 1 hit so far for each team, and we'll go into the bottom of the 5th inning. And you're watching PrepSpotlight.tv coverage of a scoreless game between the Orphans of Howard Lake, the Clippers of Watkins, 2 teams just 30 miles apart from each other. It's a good one so far. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th when we come back on PrepSpotlight.tv.
What's special about high school sports? The passion, the excitement, the memories.
Now on 3 at the buzzer. Good! It's good! Du Bois wins it for the Rebels.
It's about impacting your community, connecting your business to this audience. This is where your customers live, where they shop. This is their circle of life. This is where your business should be. Connect with your best potential customers. This is your invitation. Get in the game.
Back to the party deck we go, and as I mentioned, it's still. Everybody's just enjoying a pitching duel right now between Mike Dockendorf and Matt Geislinger. These 2 guys are going head to head. Coming up for the Clippers of Watkins, they had 2 runners on with an error and a hit in the 4th inning, but now they come back with the numbers 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Carter Block will start things off, and then the 2 younger Geislingers at shortstop and third. First pitch to the right-handed hitting Block is outside and a little high, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Dockendorf delivers, and the ball is hit well down the left field line. Looking up at it, and it is going to be foul. It was right near the foul pole. The left fielder, Gell, said he pointed that it was foul all along. That pitch was hit well and right over the big orange and black foul pole, or navy blue foul pole that they had freshly painted in this one, but it was hooking to the left of that, and the home plate umpire had gone 2/3 of the way down the line, and he had very much a look at it, and he signaled foul immediately. So a ball and a strike to Block, and a breaking ball misses low, and the count goes to 2-1. Block in his first at-bat of the game. he popped out to the shortstop. This ball's hit very well again, and this one's going to be in for bases as it one hops the wall over Gels' head. He chases it down, but Carter Block is on with a leadoff double, so big base hit for Block as he had two really good cuts in that at-bat. One that was a near home run, had very much home run power, and now this double, a leadoff double that's past the left fielder, Gels, and that's going to bring up Carson Geislinger. So now we have some action going with a runner at second. For the second inning in a row, they've had a runner on second. Bottom of the fifth in a scoreless game, but a threat a brewing. Geislinger, the left-handed hitting third baseman, squares the bunt, and he bets it right back to the pitcher. Dockendorf doesn't even think about the runner heading towards third. He gets the out at first, and the sacrifice 1-3 moves Block over to third base. This brings up Nolan Geislinger, who hit the ball out to center field in the third inning, and he takes a look at the instructions from the third base coach. Runner at third, just 90 feet away from breaking this scoreless tie here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Dockendorf leans in. Infield in. They want to cut this run down. They know the way that both of these pitchers are going. One run could mean a lot. Lifted out to center field. It's going to be Boger with the catch and the throw home. The tag at third, and the throw is going to be offline, and Dockendorf ends up with it, fielding it as the catcher, Donovan, was going to hold his spot at the plate waiting for the throw to come in. So get the RBI for Nolan Geislinger on the fly ball to center field. The second time he's hit the ball to center field. But Geislinger with the RBI, and that will help out the pitcher Geislinger, Matt, who's also the manager of this team. So RBI for Nolan Geislinger, and it is 1-0, and we'll update that scoreboard right now. It's updating the score. Bug first, and that's probably just not a good play. So 2 hits and a run now on the board for Watkins as they go on top here in the fifth inning, bottom of the fifth inning. Gavin Mathis with the bat in his hand right now, nobody on, and he's down 0-2, and he quickly strikes out on 3 pitches. So Dockendorf gets his 5th strikeout of the game, but he gives up a run, and it's a run on a hit. And a sacrifice fly by Nolan Geislinger scores the go-ahead run. We're going to take a break. You're watching PrepSpotlight.tv coverage of the state amateur tournaments, Class C style here in Milroy. Andy Price and Greg Wolford with you. We'll be back for the 6th inning when we come back. Back with you in Milroy, Minnesota, southwest corner of the state, and we have ourselves a very interesting ball game here, and we're into the 6th inning of it. And Matt Geislinger has only given up 1 hit. His counterpart from the Howard Lake Orphans, Mike Dockendorf, has only given up 2 hits, but one of them has led to a run. So it's 1-0 now in the 6th inning, and we'll get you ready to go here with the Howard Lake Orphans coming to the plate in the top of the 6th inning with the 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming up. And this is Noah Bush, and Bush grounds towards third, and it's going to be fair. They fire across the line, and Bush is safe. Noah Bush with the short little knocker that heads down the third base line, staying on the grass, and so Geislinger fielded it not taking the chance that that thing was going to go foul. He came up firing, and it's a bang-bang play at first base. But we're going to give base hit to Bush, so Bush gets the second base hit for the Orphans, and that's going to bring up Brock Gels. So Gels, the left fielder. 0 for 1. He struck out in the third inning. Each team now with 2 hits. The difference is a run scored in the bottom of the 5th inning for Watkins. Bunt attempt. Throw down to first on a snap throw from Lincoln Haugen, but it was in the dirt and unable to field it and get the tag down on it was Ashton at first. So scrambling back to first is Bush. Runner at first and nobody out. Leadoff batter reaching against Matt Geislinger. Geislinger, the lefty, looks over at the runner a couple times and delivers. Bunt missed and strike one. It's ball one and strike one to Gels. Gels with the open stance has the bat above his head. 1-1 pitch. Geislinger hesitates, delivers. Bunt was down, but it's popped up, and Geislinger catches it. Scrambling back before a throw could be made to first is Bush. So the bunt attempt fails, and the runner stays at first base. We go back to the top of the order here in the top of the 6th inning. And Matt Strike, who had an infield single with the first hit of the game against Geislinger, a little nubber that ended up in between the pitcher, the third baseman, and the shortstop. The left-handed hitting Strike with some speed. He's got on base in front of him Noah Bush, who looked like he got down the line pretty well as well. 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. Another bunt attempt. Strike lays it down. Geislinger was coming in from third, and he makes the play. So they move the runner over into scoring position. 5-3 on the out on the sacrifice. So he, coming into the inning, he'll stay at 1 for 2, will strike. Over to second is Bush, and Steve Bolger, the center fielder, wearing number 27, 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout, has got the chance with the runner in scoring position. They sacrifice the out to move the runner over into scoring position and bring up the number 2 hitter, Bolger. First pitch is off the end of the bat, fouled straight back into the netting, right behind home plate. Two outs, top of the 6th inning here. 1-0. It's just a battle of two pitchers that have been commanding the zone, commanding the batters. They are in charge. Geislinger looks at the runner at second, who's Bush. Bolger chops one. Geislinger catches it, plants, throws on the hop, and Geislinger, fielding his position very nicely, gets the out. And Geislinger now has gone 6 scoreless innings, and that ends it with a threat, a runner in scoring position for the Howard Lake Orphans not to be. So we're going to go to the bottom of the 6th inning, still 1-0. You're watching PrepSpotlight.tv's coverage of the state's Class C tournament in Millwood. Still 3-0 in the game in Cannon Falls, between Cannon Falls and Waconia. Waconia leading 3-0 in that one. And we had a 1-1 tie in the Class B game as Steve Thompson and Ryan Phelps are calling those games respectively. Steve Thompson Class B and Ryan Phelps in Class C for you here on PrepSpotlight.tv. 6th inning and a nubber right out in front. Dockendorf is going to field it, and he fires on over to get the out to start the 6th inning. And leading out, that was the leadoff hitter, Kevin Kramer, and he'll go 1-3 on the putout. So this thing has really been controlled by the pitching. Dockendorf and Geislinger, and I was listening to a few people in the media side say this was going to be a game that hits and runs were going to be at a premium, and they were spot on with that discussion and that prognostication of this game. That brings up the catcher, Lincoln Haugen, and that first pitch from Dockendorf is outside, ball 1. Two teams 35 miles apart, one highway separating them, two of the major highways heading east-west in the state of Minnesota, Highway 12 and 55, US 12, and Minnesota State Highway 55. 2 balls, no strikes to Haugen, 1 out in the 6th inning, bottom of the 6th inning. Dockendorf induces the pop foul. That's going to go out of play from Haugen, and the count is 2 balls and a strike. Haugen 0 for 2. He has fanned both times he has been at the plate. 2 hits per. The only difference is there is an error on Howard Lake. Another foul ball, and the count evens or stays even at 2-2. The error that Howard Lake committed came in the 4th inning, and it did not lead to a run. So that error on the board was not a difference in the score right now. The difference in the score was the double by the second baseman, Carter Block. Little blooper between center field and second base, and that's going to fall right into that dead zone there, and that's a base hit for Lincoln Haugen. So he collects the 3rd base hit of the game for the Clippers of Watkins. A bloop single to center, and take it how you can get it against these two pitchers, and here comes Geislinger. So Geislinger got the first base hit of the game for Watkins. Up until that point in time, 4 2/3 of innings of absolutely perfect ball from Dockendorf until Geislinger got a base hit. That didn't again lead to anything in the 4th inning. The run came in the 5th inning. A double from Block. He gets moved over and scores on a sacrifice fly. Geislinger first pitch swinging on a breaking ball. I think he knew that there was going to be a breaking ball. He was on it, but he fouls it out a little bit in front of it, and he fouls it wide of the first base bag. Geislinger 10 years ago winning a state championship with Eden Valley Watkins, and he's pitching himself very well right now. Pitch is up in the zone, over the plate, but up in the zone, and the count goes to 1-1. Bottom of the 6th inning, as this game has been controlled by the pitchers, and base runners at a premium, base hits at a premium, and the game is moving along. Line drive right at the second baseman, and that will be a double play. Noah Bush was right there. Geislinger hit it hard, but he hit it right at Bush, and Bush caught it, fires over to first base, and they placed the tag on Haugen as he got caught off the bag. And that is the end of the inning. So we're already into the 7th inning. Double play on that one as he lines into the double play. And we go to the 7th inning, top of the 7th inning. You're watching PrepSpotlight.tv's coverage of the State C tournament. A really good one here. Watkins leading Howard Lake 1-0. A pitcher's duel. We've got 3 innings, or do we have more to play? We'll see. We're coming back at the 7th right after this.
What's special about high school sports? The passion. The excitement. The memories.
Now on 3 at the buzzer. Good! It's good! Du Bois wins it for the Rebels.
It's about impacting your community. Connecting your business to this audience. This is where your customers live, where they shop. This is their circle of life. This is where your business should be. Connect with your best potential customers. This is your invitation. Get in the game.
All right, we go to the top of the 7th inning in this pitcher's duel, and Matt Geislinger is coming back ready to go for the 7th.
7th inning for Howard Lake. third baseman number 9, Brad Bickman.
Brad Bickman coming to the plate for the Orphans as they try to get something going here in the 7th inning. They did have a runner at second last inning, and that's as far as they've gotten. Bickman, the third inning, number 3 in the lineup, is the third baseman. That's what I was trying to say. I mixed them both together, and that's what you get, an error. Error on the broadcaster. I don't know how you score that in the book. First pitch is outside, ball 1. Bickman lines it up the middle, kind of a slow liner. And it is Geislinger making the play, and he throws, and a great stretch and grab by Ashton, the first baseman. That's a very fine defensive play on something that looked like it might be a slow-rolling base hit up the middle, but Geislinger fields it at short. He comes all the way behind the bag. He fields it and throws to get the out. And there is one out here in the 2nd inning.
Now batting first baseman number 17, Jake Gruenhagen.
Gruenhagen, the first baseman, he's 0 for 2. He bounced into a fielder's choice the last time up that ended the 4th inning. He also struck out looking his first time up. Lefty versus lefty, and Geislinger delivers, and it's a ground ball. It'll be fielded by Ashton. He's going to step on the bag himself, and 2 up and 2 down quickly here in the 2nd inning. So not only are you not getting anything if you're the Howard Lake Orphans, you're getting put to bed pretty quickly here in this one.
Hitter number 25,
Top of the 7th inning. In a 1-0 game. Two outs, and the pitch on the way is a strike. No. Shaking his head thinking it was going to be a strike was Jared Cook, the right-handed hitting designated hitter, but alas it was not. It was off the plate and ball 1. So I was quick to assume it was a strike, and the 1-0 pitch is nearly in the exact same spot, and it's called a strike, so the count goes to 1-1. Within a matter of millimeters of each other. Geislinger kicks and delivers, and that off-speed pitch is low, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Cook is 0 for 2 in this game. He grounded a shortstop in the 2nd inning, and in the 5th there was a called third strike that said Cook to the bench. That pitch is a breaking ball that is in for a strike, and the count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. Cook batting. He's the number 5 hitter, getting only his 3rd plate appearance of the game. Geislinger rocks, and a fastball that Cook just cannot catch up to, and Geislinger keeps motoring on. He's got 6 strikeouts now. And we're going to the bottom of the 7th. It's stretch time, and we are just going to keep it here. We're kind of recap a game that doesn't have a whole lot of recapping to do, as this has been a pitching performance on par for both of them. Well done from Matt Geislinger and Mike Dockendorf. So we are in the bottom of the 7th inning now. We're just going to hold on here as they play the 7th inning stretch. Take me out to the ball game in Milroy. I'm telling you what, if you love baseball, town ball and the Minnesota State Amateur Tournament is where you want to be at this time of the year. We have 4 weekends of state tournament play. Last week we kicked it off with Class A play. They're about ready to, in fact, at 7 o'clock they were starting their 4th quarterfinal game. And then here we are in day 2 of 3 weekends of baseball in the Class C tournament in Milroy and Springfield. Games going on throughout the entire state. So here in this one, it is 1-0. The Watkins Clippers have 3 base hits with that 1 run, and the Howard Lake Orphans do not have a run on the board. They have 2 hits. They've also committed an error. In the bottom of the 7th inning for the Clippers, it's going to be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Their run came in the 5th inning, and it all started with a leadoff double from Carter Block. He hit a ball just 2 pitches prior to the double that was very close to being a home run. He came back and doubled to the gap in left center field, was moved over on a sacrifice by the Carson Geislinger, and then was scored on a sacrifice fly from Nolan Geislinger, the number 8 hitter. He hit it out to center field, and it was deep enough to score the run. Ball 1 from Dockendorf to the first baseman, Brandon Ashton. Foul ball back out of play, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Bottom of the 7th inning right now in a game here in Milroy, Minnesota at the Yankees field. And it has been 2 guys, 2 town ball pitchers who know what they're doing. Dockendorf with a hanging curveball, and it slapped past the shortstop, and Ashton reaches base for the second time this game. He reached on an error in the fourth. This time it's a solid single to left. And he has a leadoff signal.
Number 00, Heath Kramer.
Heath Kramer wearing 00, the designated hitter, 0 for 2 with a fly ball and a strikeout. He's at the plate. Runner at first is Brandon Ashton. Delivering in the bunt, Kramer gives himself up as he jogs down the line. Dockendorf fields it. Runner moved over as the Clippers are playing for an extra run here.
Now batting second baseman, number 13, Carter Block.
Bottom of the seventh inning. And here is the hitting hero of the game right now. Carter Block doubled and scored. Dockendorf facing him with a runner on second. Checks the runner twice. Delivers a curveball that slides off the bat foul of Carter Block. Block 1 for 2, but a big base hit and a run scored. Right now the only run, the lonely run on the scoreboard. Dockendorf again checking the runner twice, and timeout called. Late timeout called. Carter Block stepped away after the hesitation from the pitcher Dockendorf. The Orphans and the Clippers in a duel. Game 3 of the day here in Milroy. Pitches over the plate and a strike. Dockendorf delivers. No balls, 2 strikes. The runner at second is Brandon Ashton. Being checked, and the pitch fastball fouled straight back. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runner at second. It's a 1-0 lead, and stepping off the back of the mound is Dockendorf. Carter Block, the second baseman. Delivers, and the pitch is low and gets away, but not far enough away that Ashton can go anywhere. Ball and 2 strikes now is the count.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Dockendorf taking a long look in. Block might step out as well on this one. Again, hesitating to look to second, and the pitch is outside, and we're going to go to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes, and a runner on second. 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. Carter Block already with a hit and a run. Dockendorf delivers, and it's inside, but hacking away is Block, and he fouls it towards the Orphan dugout. Is that an orphanage? I'm guessing that's not the first time that that's been used. 2-2. Shadows coming in as the sun is getting a little lower in the western sky. The shadow from the trees in the right field right now, and from the batter's eye in center field that stretches into left. Pitch misses down low, and the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Three and 2 the count to Block. Dockendorf delivers, and it's up in the air. The left fielder charging in. Gels is there, and Gels has it land softly in his glove. 2 away with the runner on second, and that's going to bring up Carson Geislinger. Carson 0 for 1. He sacrificed his last at-bat to move block over to third base, which ultimately led to the run being scored. Now he's up with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. And Dockendorf delivers, and it's hit out to right field, but it looks very playable for a strike. And strike is there, and he makes the catch. So we've played 7 full innings and only 1 run on the board. A runner left on base for the Watkins Clippers, and we'll go to the top of the 8th inning in a 1-0 game. Watkins with Matt Geislinger coming back out to see what else he can do today. He's pitched himself a whale of a ball game, giving up just 2 hits. We'll see what happens when we come back. You're watching Prep Spotlight TV's coverage of the Class C state tournament.
Before the next game. So if you could help us out by exiting in a timely manner.
What's special about high school sports? The passion, the excitement, the memories.
Down on 3 at the buzzer. Good! It's good! DuBois wins it for the Rebels.
It's about impacting your community, connecting your business to this audience. This is where your customers live, where they shop. This is their circle of life. This is where your business should be.
And we're back for the top of the 8th inning. 1-0 is the score. And the Howard Lake Orphans come to the plate with just 2 at-bats left to try to find the equalizer or then some. And it's Zach Kiefler at the plate. And he swings and misses on the first pitch, count 0-1. Kiefler looks at ball 1, and the count is even at a ball and a strike. Kiefler today is 0 for 2 with just a ground out and a fly ball out to center field. Pitch misses inside, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Geislinger with 6 strikeouts through his 7 innings of pitching, only giving up 2 hits, and nobody's gotten on cheaply with either of these 2 pitchers, except for the 1 error that's on the board. Fastball misses away, and it's 3 balls and a strike. So as I say that, Kiefler might look to get on with a walk to get things started here in the 8th. 3-1 pitch, Geislinger delivers, and it is ripped line drive base hit to left field. Kiefler with the base knock, 3rd hit of the game for the Orphans, and maybe something's cooking. That's going to bring up the catcher, Donovan, Matt Donovan. Donovan is 0 for 2 as well. He's a ground out on a pop out. Runner at first with barely a lead, nary a lead we'd say, and the bunt attempt is missed, and it's foul tipped. Again, everybody's playing for the 1 run. You got the 7, 8, 9 hitters, and it makes sense there. Earlier, they sacrificed the leadoff hitter to move a runner into scoring position, and I've always been a little bit opposed to sacrificing anybody in the top 3 of your order. Donovan with a chopping bunt. Geislinger fields it on a hop and fires low over to Ashton, but Ashton fields it. Runner does get moved over to second base as we have a 1-3 sacrifice again. And Donovan does his job. Now Noah Bush, the second baseman, who delivered a base hit. He also struck out. So Bush singled in the 6th inning, and he was pushed over to scoring position. They could not move him any further. Bush flares the foul ball away. The runner at second base is equal to the furthest distance that any Orphan runner has been to this game against Geislinger and the Watkins Clippers. No runner has reached third base in this game from the Howard Lake squad. No balls, 1 strike. Bush with the open stance and hands right around chest level He lifts it to left field, and that ball will be caught as Mathis catches it, and that will be the second out. So 2 runners, 2 out, a runner on second, and we go to the number 9 hitter. It will still be Brock Gels. Another chance here, and after this, if they can't capitalize on this one, then they'll have to go to their last at-bats. Gels, the number 9 hitter, has his hands up around his ear, a little bit above his ear, as Geislinger, out of the stretch, does not turn his back nearly as far. He doesn't wheel his kick leg and go with the full delivery. He misses outside, ball 1. Top of the order will be following if this inning is extended. If not, it'll be the top of the order into the bottom or the top of the 9th inning. Geislinger hits the inside part of the plate for strike 1. Count goes 1-1. One ball and 1 strike, 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. The Orphans trying to get things squared up. Geislinger delivers. It's low, 2-1. He's only given up 3 hits. Gave up an infield single in the 4th inning. He gave up the single to Bush, who just flew out for the second out of the inning. He gave that up in the 6th, and then this single to start this inning. Good fastball, and Gels cannot catch up to it. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. We have 2 outs. Gels facing Geislinger, the lefty against the righty. Bottom or top of the 8th inning. And the pitch is delivered and fouled straight back, just off the end of the bat. And the count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes. 26th inning of baseball here today on a sultry summer Saturday in August in Milroy. Could be much worse, no doubt. I'm not complaining. No complaints. It's baseball on an August Saturday. 2-2 the count, and he busts him inside and jams Gels, and that pitch is fouled away. As I said before, this ballpark is very still. Two-two pitch, off speed, is popped up towards center field. There's Mathis, and Mathis is going to call it off, and he'll make the catch. So we will go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Still nobody scoring for Howard Lake. They leave a runner stranded after the leadoff base hit. We're going to go to the bottom of the 8th. We're going to take a break first. You're watching PrepSpotlight.tv in the State Amateur Baseball Tournament.
They do lead 1 base.
Jeremiah Van de Steeg from Hutchinson is their pitcher now. He's one of the draftees of the Howard Lake Orphans. So Mike Dockendorf's day on the mound is done. And Van de Steeg from Hutchinson. So Dockendorf goes 7 innings. He gave up 1 run on 4 hits. The run is earned. No walks.
Leading off for Watkins in the 8th inning, shortstop number 22, Nolan Geislinger.
Struck out 5. So a solid day from Dockendorf. But the question is he going to be outdueled by Geislinger? First pitch to Nolan Geislinger is fouled off. Nolan Geislinger with the RBI, the lone RBI of the game. And his last time up, the sacrifice fly to center field scored the run. Carter block. He's flown out to center field both times. Ball and a strike, and Vandersteeg hits the strike zone, and the count is 1-2. Vandersteeg, a tall, lanky right-hander from Hutchinson. He kicks and delivers. 1-2 pitch is fouled away. Bottom of the 8th inning in this one, and we have motored right along as the pitchers have been exquisite. Dockendorf can only get the loss right now, but that's not indicative of the way he pitched. Geislinger strikes out on the off-speed pitch as Vandersteeg, Jeremiah with the first out. Gavin Mathis is at the plate. He has struck out 2 times. Left-handed hitting number 25, bottom of the order. First pitch curveball misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Pitch is low, and the count goes to 2-0. We are here in Milroy in the bottom of the 8th inning. A old-fashioned pitcher's duel, and it has been a good one. It lived up to that, as people that I was talking to or listening to said that was very much going to be the case. 2 balls and a strike as Mathis swings and misses. That pitch is inside, and it's 3 balls and a strike. If he reaches, whether he reaches or not, we'll swing back to the top of the order, and Kevin Kramer. 3-1 pitch fouled away, and the count runs full. Heading into the ballpark right now, the Red Wing Aces are making their way in. They'll be taking on Waterville in the nightcap here. Game 4 of 4. Pitch inside, and we have a base on balls. First walk of the game. Vandersteeg with a walk and a strikeout.
Now batting center fielder number 3, Kevin Kramer.
So Kevin Kramer now at the plate, the center fielder for the Watkins Clippers. He is 0 for 3, a couple groundouts and a flyout. And with 1 out, he's facing the pitcher, Jeremiah Vandersteeg. Watkins with just 4 hits, but able to push across a run. They were able to manufacture the run after a leadoff double. Getting that leadoff guy over to second base without any outs was all they needed to make the difference on the scoreboard right now. No balls and a strike, and the pitch to Kramer is a curveball that misses outside. 1-1 the count. We were here last night right around this time starting the game between Hadley and Randall. Turned out to be a very exciting finish and a comeback win for Randall. Now we're about that same time of night. That ball hit towards center field, chasing down is Boger. He reaches up and doesn't make the catch. It skips off the wall. He tries to rally it in quickly, and it'll be a double. A 1-out double for Kramer. He hits it hard and over the head of the center fielder, the chasing center fielder, Boger. And Mathis will advance on to third base. Kramer to second. Lincoln Haugen will come to the plate now with the infield drawn completely in. Trying to cut off any run on any ball hit in the infield. Vandersteeg delivers one right back up the middle, and it's going to get through. Vandersteeg could not reach down and get it past the diving Bush at second base, and both runs will score, and it is 3-0. Lincoln Haugen with his second base hit of the game. He has 2 RBI now with that base knock to center, a 4-hopper right through the middle of the field. His 2 base hits and 2 RBI for the catcher, and I guess you want to say the battery did it all. And here is Geislinger right now. He'll be hitting here with 1 out and a runner on. 3-0 your score. Watkins has extended the lead in the 8th inning. Geislinger cannot hold off on the curveball, and that's strike 1. Geislinger with a base hit in the game. He's 1 for 3. Haugen with a big knock. Insurance runs for sure, although it was a semi-slow roller right up the middle. Pitch inside, and the count is even at a ball and a strike. Game 3 of 4 here today. 1 more to play. 1-1 pitch is outside. Curveball misses, and the count moves to 2 balls and a strike. A run in the 6th inning, and now, a run in the 5th inning, and now 2 runs here in the 8th for the Clippers. And the Clippers thinking they might have a date with Fergus Falls next week. Pitch outside, and 3 balls and a strike. So they bring in the reliever, the drafted Vandersteeg from Hutchinson, and he has given up the 2 runs that you can feel a lot more comfortable now, up 3, especially the way that Geislinger has pitched. Haugen's running, pitch is low, it's ball 4, so no stolen base, call it a walk, and everybody, Haugen's sprint towards second is not for the statistical scorebook. 2 walks in the inning.
First baseman, number 18, Brandon Ashton.
Brandon Ashton now at the plate. Ashton singled to lead off the 7th inning, but he was stranded. They're going to pinch run for the pitcher, Geislinger, but I don't believe that means he won't be reinstated when he comes in. Pinch running is number 6.
Running at first base, Miles Zingle.
It's a name I don't have on my roster, so I'll have to go to this other roster to see. Runners at first and second. First pitch is a ball. Miles Zingle, D-Z-I-N-G-L-E, is your pinch runner, and he's at first base. Pitch fouled off, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. One out as the pace is slowed with 2 walks and a couple base hits. Popped up into shallow right field. Everybody's going to have to come chasing on that one. It's the right fielder, Stike, who's going to make the play. Stike doing a great job of hustling in on that one, and there's 2 outs. That'll bring up Heath Kramer with 2 outs and 2 runners on. 2 runners in as well in this one. 3-0, bottom of the 8th inning. And the Watkins Clippers, they want to head back up to Highway 55 and know that they're going to be heading back down to southern Minnesota in the round of 32. Heath Kramer at the plate. And he lifts the first pitch towards left field, and Gels is there, and Gels will haul it in. So 2 runs score off of 3 base hits. 2 runs on 2 base hits. I'm getting ahead of myself. And 2 walks. So we will go to the 9th inning, and we're going to just keep it here. No reason to step aside as we go to what could be the final half-inning break, as Geislinger is going to re-enter into the game, and he grabs the ball and saunters out to the mound. 2 hits and 2 walks. 5 hits for the game for Watkins. Watkins with 3 runs right now off of 5 hits. They have not committed an error. 1 error committed in the game. That was by Howard Lake. It didn't lead to anything. But we are now in the 9th inning, as the sun is now ducking below the grandstand and just right into the corner of my right eye. This ball field faces to the southwest.
Thank you so much for your help.
Geisler looking around at his defense right now as he doesn't have a catcher to throw to. He's just looking to see what's happening. And let's take a look at the scoreboard. And it looks like the Moorhead Mudcats in Class B have taken a 3-1 lead over Elko. That game being played at Schlepper Stadium in Shakopee. That's your update in Class B. That game being called by Steve Thompson right now. Waconia has opened up a big lead now over Cannon Falls. So the Bears are about done. Waconia leading 8-0, and they look to be advancing on in the second round of the tournament as well. Geislinger back out for the 9th inning, and no surprise there.
Leading off the 9th inning for Howard Lake, right fielder number 23, Matt
Fairmont will be the next opponent for Waconia. So the Waconia squad will face Fairmont in round 2 more than likely. Geislinger's first pitch to the left-handed hitting Matt Stryker. That's one of the good lines from Airplane. Strike, the leadoff hitter for Howard Lake, is 1 for 3 at an infield single to lead off the 4th inning. First base hit of this entire game. We've gone the first 18 batters without anybody reaching base until Strike did. He went nowhere from there. In fact, he was erased going to second base on a fielder's choice. No balls, 2 strikes. Matt Geislinger delivers fastball just off the outside corner. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Nobody on. First batter of the inning. He throws a floater, an off-speed pitch that has popped up in play. And there is Lincoln Haugen. Haugen doing a nice job behind the plate as well as driving in those last 2 runs. And Matt Strike is out for number 1. Or out number 1. And that'll bring up Steve Bogert. Geislinger is the story of this one. His battery mate, Lincoln Haugen, would be the epilogue as he caught a great ball game and delivered a 2-run single that opened this one up to a 3-run game. Top of the 9th inning, and opportunities are waning right now for the Orphans. Looks like they've just about to turn on the lights here. See what happens. We're going to go check out that light. A line drive caught off the shoe tips. It might have broke the bat. It was not a hard hit liner, but a line drive nonetheless. And Geislinger is about ready to close out a gem, a 3-hit gem. Nobody from Howard Lake advancing past second base in this one. Six strikeouts. And the number 3 hitter, Brad Bickman, at the plate, and he swings at an off-speed pitch for strike 1. Count 0-1. As dusk starts to settle in here in Milroy. Bickman reached on a fielder's choice. He is 0 for 3. He hits this one out to left field. Did it get over the head? And it sure did. It gets over the head of Mathis. And a double. So this game ain't over yet. Mathis didn't get the best jump on that one, and it got over his head quickly. Good swing by Bickman, and he keeps the game alive with a 2-out double. That brings up Grunhagen. Jake, the first baseman, is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Geislinger hits the outside part of the plate with a strike. Score is 3-0 here in the top of the 9th. 2 outs and a runner on second. The Orphans trying to scratch a run across, and Geislinger misses low. Matt Geislinger about ready to finish off a complete game if he can get one more out. Gruenhagen, the batter. Lefty versus lefty, and his off-speed pitch swung on and missed, and down to their final strike are the Orphans. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 3-0. It's Watkins in front of Howard Lake, looking to advance on to round number 2. 1-2 pitch on the way. Broken bat. It's going to land in front of the third baseman. Geislinger fires over, and they get the out. And that's the end of the game. So we wrap up game 3 of our quadruple header, and Matt Geislinger with a whale of a pitching performance. 3-0 is your final. Howard Lake, no runs on 4 hits. They do commit an error. While Watkins will move on to play Fergus Falls, and they score 3 runs on 5 hits, and they don't commit an error. Geislinger with a complete game, 9 innings, giving up the 4 base hits, no runs, no walks, but he struck out 6. So the winner is Geislinger. The loser is the opposing pitcher and co-manager, Mike Dockendorf, who pitched very, very well, but he pitches so in a losing effort. Geislinger the win, Dockendorf the loser. And we can go to game 4 now. We're going to step aside and get ready for the final game, Red Wing versus Waterville, and it'll be a good one. Wrapping up a full quadruple header of coverage. You've been watching this game, 3-0 your final. Watkins over Howard Lake. You've been watching it on PrepSpotlight.tv. Thanks to everybody who has subscribed to either the single game or to the packages in Class C or to the entire full tournament package on PrepSpotlight.tv, the Minnesota Baseball Association, and PrepSpotlight.tv. Thanks you for your support and your wanting to watch baseball in the state tournament. You are going to step aside. We'll be back in about a half hour with the final game. You're watching PrepSpotlight.tv. Andy Price and Greg Wolfert with you right here from Milroy. The 2020 Class C Minnesota Amateur Baseball Tournament is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Baseball Association and presented to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 is the hub for all things sports with the Xfinity Sports Zone. And Wings Financial. We're for people like you.